it do, ADD fam? What it do, what it do, what it do? What do you do? What you do? So, today I will tell about what a baffling, bumbling, stumbling, bumbling idiot I am. No. Yes and no. So, as I've discussed, I have ADD, ADHD, ADD, call it what you will, and it's got me in a heap load of trouble my whole life, right? One reason or another, it's managed to always get me in some shit, right? And I'm going to explain. So it was all the time, and there again, I can now, I'll now go ahead and just blame it on my ADD, all right? Probably not right, whatever. This is what we're going to do, right? Everybody's got their own little hang-ups and quirks and whatever, and mine's just to blame it on my ADD, and we call it a night, right? I try not to say I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm suicidal, I'm homicidal, I'm happy, if it's any kind of bad emotion, I just blame it on the ADD. So, for a lot of the time, this was the case. Always the case in a lot of situations. Let me give you an example. The year was roughly 2010-ish, and it was the last time I had been in jail, and the pod I was in was max security. Like I said, on that one deal with spanking my kids, I went to jail twice on it. Went to jail for 2 months, bonded out, and went back to jail, was in for 6 months. When I was back in the second time for 6 months, the first go around, the first time I was in, and all the other times I had been in jail, in boot camp, mental institutions, all that, my parents were always there for me, right? So they always come to visit me. They always had money on my books. I have to say, always through all the shit. And like I said, I've done 5 years when you locked up, when you count mental institutions and rehabs and in jail and boot camp. It all comes up to 5 years. So on my last go around, I'm in the dorm, and so my last go around, my parents aren't riding with me, okay? Part of my bond condition was to stay away from my wife. I broke my bond order, pissed my family off. Bunch of bullshit went down. My wife's cousin's ex-wife ratted us out. Told my family the deal that we were together. So off to jail, back to jail I went. So when I went back the second time, my parents were not happy with me. They were pissed, right? My whole family wasn't mad at me, so they didn't ride with me. So I didn't have money. So it was hard enough to get by in there. And you can barely get by eating in jail. You have to have extras, as I've discussed, and you've heard from other people's videos. You know, they barely give you enough to eat. In jail and prison, they get, you get just enough to eat, but you literally have to save part of your meal or you're starved to death at night, right? So I had to take on this gay ass hustle. So there's different hustles and shit you can do in the dorm, right? And so I took the whatever you would call it, they would lock everyone down right after lunch and in the evening. And once they locked everyone down, me and a couple other guys would clean, right? And so I would go around and wash people's windows. And in that amount of time, I also could transport, this guy wanted this guy did this. I'd run people's errands. And so every night, every shift that you do it, there'd be somebody at the last minute pay you to go do something, right? All kind of different odd shit. I'd charge you an item to take, to get something from one guy's cell to the other. Just some, some Mickey Mouse bullshit, right? Some little kid shit. I was on, some gay-ass kids shit, right? But I had to do it to eat, and it was that or starve. So I said, damn it, yeah, I'll clean the windows. So I had window cleaning job, and like I said, it kept me from starving. It wasn't a very good paying job. You didn't get paid from the state anything. You got paid from the inmates. Just, you might get a soup if you did a couple of errands for one guy, right? So it's not like I was getting, fed that good every night. But by the end of the night, amongst 70 different dudes, this guy would, give me a couple peanut butters. This guy give me a peanut butter. This guy might give me a couple peanut butters, but I don't get it till Friday, etc., right? So I had all kinds of deals like this worked out with, just about everybody. And there's a couple people that, like me, didn't have much money, whatever, and didn't use my services at all. But for the most part, just about everyone in there needed my services. Once the dorm was locked down, me and two other guys were out in the pod, and you could take turns mopping. We would have to mop and wash the windows. So one guy would mop, one guy wash windows, one guy's would fart off, and you'd kind of rotate, right? But so you were out of your pod, which was, was gay as shit. Like I said, some Mickey Mouse shit. Yeah, you got to be out of the dorm an extra hour, a couple hours a day, right? But it was just enough to allow me to get my hustle on, to strong arm dudes. Because for whatever reason, and everybody, all kind of different reasonings, that dudes are being pressed up on. You better have my shit. By the time I get out, like, dudes are threatening each other across the pod, and I'm kind of stuck in the middle of it. And so, they come to an agreement, and so somebody's got to give me something. Take go from A to B. I got to get paid every single time, right? So in amongst this is my hustle, and this is how I kept from starving to death. And so you go around real quick, right? You gotta run around, you've only got like an hour and something, and they give you a little bit extra time. Like we would get to watch, for doing that, we'd get to watch TV, and we got to stay out in the pod like an extra hour over and above an hour cleanup time, right? Something like that. So it made sense to go through there and haul ass. You see what I'm saying? And get your job done. You might get your job done in 10, 15 minutes, and now you got, hour and a half to 2 hours to hustle. So I would go, super fast and quick through there. Well, there's a dude on the bottom tier, this older black man, okay? And there again, this is where my ADD came into play. So I'm running through and cleaning everybody's window in the dorm, right? This guy tells me, no, stop, don't do it, right? He wants to wash his own window. This older black guy was going to prison, had been to prison. Like I said, we were a max dorm. And so none of these guys were somebody you'd want to fuck with or fight. You have problems with, right? But my ADD dumbass would come through there every night and wash the windows real quick and forget about him and come up and wash his window. And then he would, he would freak. You know what I'm saying? There's a piece of glass so you can see right through the door, right? You can't touch each other or nothing like that, but you can see each other, right? He's pressed up against the glass looking out, and I'm running through there every night, and I keep forgetting not to leave him alone, right? And I keep fucking coming up and doing his window. And it almost got to a point like where I couldn't, you would think that would not be that thing of a hard thing to remember and do, but for someone with ADD, it can be. So like I said, I did this over and over again, and it pissed this dude off. And he's in his window, and he's fucking doing gorilla shit, right? No exaggerating. He's in the fucking dorm. He's got his shirt off, and he's beating. He's like beating on his chest and saying "rah!" doing all these like tiger row noises. And I was like, holy shit, this dude wants to kill me, for real. He's in there psychotic as fuck every night. And like I said, I continue to do this. So eventually it gets to where I'm I'm making an attempt now, right? It's taking, like I said, us guys ADD, we can do some dumb shit over and over again. I did, like I said, the same dumb shit over and over again, and finally got to a point where I could remind myself, because, he's gorillaing out on me every night, and so now I get to where I slow down, and so my hustle game's showing, this guy's in the mirror. The times that I did wash his glass, now he wants it super clean, Now he's over there freaking the fuck out. Now he's telling me how to wash his window from the outside because I've already washed it. Oh no, he's instructing me and shit. I'm like, fuck you, whatever. I got to get all these people's done. You don't get no extra treatment. So I go away, and I leave him sitting there looking like a fucking gorilla pouncing on his chest at night. And this goes on for some time, same shit off and on, and eventually gets to where now he wants to whoop my ass, right? And I'm not gonna say I'm Billy Badass. He would have probably stomped me. I'm not gonna lie. He was, bigger than me, outsized me. There's no telling. I would, even a guy I'm scared of, I'd still fight. I'm gonna fight him, but I think he's gonna whoop my ass. But I'm not scared. But I'm saying he could get the best of me, right? So him and he's friends with this other black guy, right? No, nothing against black guys, not racist by any at all means. You those of you that know me know I'm friends with a ton of black guys. Anyway, so he's friends with this other black guy, and there's two gorillas in the pod. There's two dudes. You'll hear stories about guys, and there'll be black guys in there. And kudos to you black guys. They have like a different kind. They have a whole different kind of frame makeup than us white dudes. Like a black guy do push-ups and shit, and he looks like the fucking Incredible Hulk, literally. Like black people's muscles, they define, and black people can get crazy cut up easier than white dudes can for some reason. And you'll see it all the time in jail, and you'll see it all the time in prison. So people have done time know what the hell fuck I'm saying. And so the guy, his buddy in the gym, in the dorm, happens to be that dude, insane muscle ripped up dude, right? And so they're talking about me. So now I've caused a stink, and so now he's telling his buddy about me, and I got my shit at the either my stuff is in the microwave or I'm next to go in the microwave. Somewhere between in that time that I got in and I was ahead of them, right? And so the guy that I keep pissing off, washing his windows every night, and his buddy Gorilla Grape Ape. This guy looked like fucking Donkey Kong. Like I shit you not, his arms. Like I said, he was cut up insane looking. No way I would ever want to fight him. Not on my best day. 2 or 3 of me wouldn't want to fight him. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm up at the microwave, getting my shit out, heat it up, and they say something. And they say some shit. Oh, here's some white boy shit, right? And about that time, another black guy came in, and the third black guy is now not really my friend, but not my enemy. But he's like sticks up for me. He got in the middle. Those two guys were like making it known, that they would have their way. White boy. They were basically, making the call that we was fixing to get it on, taunting me, in other words, Yeah, hurry up, white boy. Just you saying white boys, that's disrespectful. I don't say, hey, black boy, move on. So just saying white boy is it's an insult for people that don't know that, right? You don't say white boy or black, whatever. It goes the same for white people, You don't call someone white boy a cracker unless you are a white boy. See what I'm saying? Same for black. It goes that way. So they call me white boy, and the guy Willie, Willie's like the keys. He's holding the keys to the dorm. They don't have keys and shit, but to give people for instances so know what I'm talking. Willie was the guy holding the keys to the dorm, and whatever he said pretty much goes. And Willie only had a couple of years that he was going to do in prison, but nonetheless he was going to prison, and so he kind of held the keys to the dorm. You know, he could say what was going to be on TV or not, and it was either that way, and the only way it wasn't that way is if you wanted to get, you know, if you wanted to fight him and let it be known, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, nobody was big, and you know, I'm not big or bad enough to fuck with him, so I let him run his shit off. Anyways, he put those guys in check for me, talking that shit. Seen the guy who was having a hissy fit about his window getting washed by this white boy, and they're making a big deal about it. And he tells, and he takes his shirt off and tells the dude, and what to the gorilla dude, you know, like, what? You got a problem with this dude? You got a problem with me? Took his shirt off and looked at him and said, what? That means either fight or let it go. And so he kept me from getting my ass beat. Pretty damn cool. So solid to you, Willie. There was some other people that knew him. There was a guy, Laney Welchel. Shout out Laney Welchel. This man that I had met in there, and Laney had spent his whole life in and out of prison, like crazy bids, right? He was a Harley dude. He was a biker, and he'd done spent all his life in prison, right? And so Laney knew a lot of people that I ran with and grew up with. Laney knew my pill lady. When I first started doing Roxy's, Laney was like childhood friends with my lady, the pill lady. Shout out Brenda. So he knew her, right? So yeah, he was in there. He had done where he lived in wherever part of I think it was Acworth, Georgia, or maybe no, it was Woodstock. Laney knew William, the guy that stuck up for me. He knew him from like, the guy I'm talking about. The black guy is only probably in his late 20s, right? He's gonna go do a bid. He's probably got 5 to 10. I don't know. I think 3 to 5 he had, but he was, you know, middle 20s. Laney knew him. Laney knew him when he was born, type shit, right? So he's telling me all about Willie and their deal and why and how he got into all this, and they selling sling crack over in this section. And Laney's telling me about this, where this is at. This is like, you know, right next to my stomping grounds. And so yeah, I met some crazy ass dudes. Laney was a crazy ass dude. Like I said, he had spent all his life in prison, and he knows a lot of, like I said, knew my pill girl, knew a lot of people that I knew and ran with, and knew all the guys that had been coming and going from that jail and to prison from that area. That would be considered Cherokee, Georgia. So figured Cherokee, Atlanta, Wendell knew like everybody that was on parole in like a, you know, couple of 100-mile radius. This dude had been out of prison system so much, like guys would come and go in the jail, and Laney knew him, you know. Hey, how's Melba? I'm just giving you an example. How's so-and-so, Bobby Sue's cousin type shit, right? He knew everybody in the town. The dirty cops and all that shit. You know, old biker. Must have been down for the program. Been stabbings and, you know, done all kind of crazy shit. Now, that been down in prison over 30 years, and he was probably in his 50s then, and he's telling me all the stories, all the people that are in it, that are in the system, all the people I'm meeting and seeing and gonna meet in the jail if I don't get my ass out, if I don't beat this rap, and if it's not gonna be a felony. If it's a felony, then this is who I'll get ready to meet. So Laney's schooling me, you know. I'm thinking I'm going to prison. Like I said, Zach's face looked really, really bad, giving himself rug burn. It looked like it beat the fuck out of him. Praise the Lord. I don't know how the hell I didn't go to prison. I think I have some ideas, but I really had in bed in my head I was going to prison. There was a girl at the same time, and there again, I'm not being racist or funny. So when you're in jail, you talking to other people, especially guys that have been in and out of jail, will have some good knowledge, and they call them, what do they call them again? Jailhouse lawyers. And so they'll pump your nuts up and, lie to you and tell you what you want to hear and all that shit. And so, I really thought I was going to prison. So Laney schooled me on all that shit. What and who, if I do go down the road, giving me guys names, all that, he had been in the Brotherhood, in the White Boys Brotherhood. Laney had, like I said, he knew all kind of people with crazy stories, with city officials getting drugs and getting laid, prostitutes and shit like that. He's telling me all about that shit going on. Like I said, he was in his 50s, so he's giving me his life story of, all these, for instance, the judge in the town and his son, got busted for drugs. The judge of my case and of a lot of cases had all kind of dirty dealings and shit, and son was a drug addict, long story short. So there was talk, he told me all the city mayhem and shit that's going on in that city. A lot of crazy, dirty, wild ass stories. But anyways, I think we're 21 minutes. I think I beat the dead horse on this one. So yeah, I had the guys stick up for me. I had these guys taunting the fuck out of me, and one dude was, like I said, insane big. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to fight him with help. You know what I'm saying? This dude was crazy big. And there was another black guy in our pod, and the other black guy was kind of off. And he just walked around the pod in circles, just walked around like a, I don't want to say too much because this guy may see this shit. This guy had been going to this jail and prison off and on his whole life. He would do something stupid, so he might have been a little off. And there again, I don't want to say too much because he could see this. And so there's a guy that kept going to the jail, right? He'd go to jail, he'd go to prison down the road, he'd go home. He'd go to jail, he'd go to prison, he'd go down the road, he'd go home. Like his whole life, and he was, late 40s. So Laney's telling me all this. They know, all these guys know each other. Done bids, been down the road together, been in the jail together. All these guys that have done jail in this town. They're all gonna have been down with each other and shit. Crazy shit. Like I said, the guys that I was in the first time, the guy that died, he was the guy that I was in with and died at breakfast. The story I tell. He was best childhood friends to Mike Adams, my best friend who died. So yeah, some crazy shit. So a lot of these dudes know each other and keep up with each other, and guys, die over the years and shit. And so, thank God every day I'm not in that life. I don't see myself going back. This will be an anniversary to be 50, to make it past 50 and not go to jail will be a record breaking. Yeah, no shit, every 10 years some shit to happen and fuck me up. It's happened every 10 years, at 21, at 30, at 40, and I hope God it don't happen at 50. Stay ADD. Love you guys.